This podcast is brought to you by SDBullion.com. They've been friends of mine for over a decade. I trust them with my business. You should too. Visit SDBullion.com for more information. March 20 greetings to everybody at TFMR. It's Friday, March the 20th. It's about, 10:30 Eastern Time Friday evening. About 4:30 Hawaii time. I was going to wait till tomorrow to record a podcast, and I thought, I just want it over with. I don't want it hanging over my head all night long. I don't want to have to deal with it in the morning. So you're recording your podcast now. Come Monday, we'll see what happens. I'm flying home overnight Monday night. So I would think, I would imagine we'll have a reasonably full day Monday. And we should be back at it Tuesday, God willing. Get back to Turd Fork. Post the morning, podcast in the afternoon. We'll go from there. As for what next week is it going to bring, your guess is as good as mine. We'll have some economic data. Some goons will be back. But does it matter? I mean, seriously, does it matter? We were doing great. I'm finally just really sad, bummed out. I like to think that, this all sort itself out. Like we said yesterday, it's March. Who knows what things will look like by June? Who knows what it'll look like by October? I think we're come soaring back. It's a little bit like we said yesterday, pre-COVID or pre-great financial crisis. The gold and silver certainly look that way. Gold just completed its worst week since 1983. It is off to its worst start of the month with a week to go. Worst start of the month since October of 2008. You remember what was going on then. So, eventually the central bank response will be to print. You know that. And when that happens, probably come soaring back. But I'm just sad about it all. And I'm sure you are too, because this is so unnecessary. You make case, those Iranians, they're bad dudes, and they're working on getting a bomb and all this kind of stuff. But we were doing great. 3 weeks ago, you go back to listen to the podcast 3 weeks ago, the 27th of February. We were doing great. Finished the month, all-time highs in the GDX. Gold had come soaring back. Silver was back to 93 or 94. And now it's unbelievable how bad. What is it? GDX only down 2 points today. How about that? But now down to 80. It was 116. So it's down by nearly a third in 3 weeks. It's just unbelievable. And it just seems so, like I said, necessary to do all this. I don't know. I don't know if, who knows how Trump looks at it now. Is it unnecessary? No one knows. I just wish it hadn't happened. My concern about energy supplies and liquefied natural gas and everything else that is now putting the global economy in peril. Could it come back? Again, you like to think maybe the war will end. Trump doesn't know what he's saying. This afternoon he went from saying, it's going to go on for a while. We're going to have troops maybe into Iran. And a couple of hours later he says, maybe we're about done. But who knows? And it's just, I don't know. It's just hard. Work really hard to get things right and to help all of you. And we're doing great. And I think I'm seeing everything just right. And then this crap happens. And so whatever. Open interest continues to collapse. We can talk about that, I guess. We're back to 7.5-year lows in COMEX gold and 12.5-year lows in COMEX silver open interest. 405,000 in gold, 112,000 in silver. Just nobody there. Rates continue to skyrocket in 3 weeks. Since all this started, the yield on the 2-year note is up 41 basis points. Yield on the 10-year note's up 45. And the dollar index is up more than 3 points. Put it all together, and you've seen it. So anyway, I don't know. I know I'm not much help. Maybe I don't know if it's worth being a part of this side or not, because I'm as frustrated and flabbergasted and frankly worn out and sad as I've been in quite a while. Maybe you think that's a bullish sign. Sometimes it's been that way in the past, but we've not been in this situation in the past. What's next? Is Chinese going to make a move on Taiwan? Since the U.S. is all bogged down in other places? Why wouldn't they? Look at what's happening to them. I mean, I showed you yesterday how they are the largest importer of Qatarian natural gas. And look what we've done to it. We have every right to be pissed off. I don't know. See what happens next. My physical metal, great. Yeah, it's down in value, right? In dollar terms. But I couldn't be happier with all the physical metal I own. And we'll use this price decline to buy some more. But what this has done to the mining shares is just mind-blowing. But it's not, and look, again, I'll make it sound like it's all about me and selfish and I can't believe how much my account's down. I'm just sick because, again, in the end, the guy who's allegedly so pissed off that he didn't win the Nobel Peace Prize voluntarily started a war. I decided he wanted to do it. Decided he had to do it. Whatever, and I don't know what he knows. I don't know. I'm not privy to the intelligence. I have no idea. But it was definitely a war of choosing. It's not like Iran fired off a missile that hit Des Moines, and now here we are. And I'm just sick about it all. I'm just really bothered. So anyway, like I said, I'm going to sit around, do this in the morning, but I figured why wait? I need a couple days off too. Here's a little summary from Zero Hedge. I mean, some of these headlines. Like I said yesterday, there's Qatar, whatever. Going to cost $20 billion in lost revenue up to 5 years to fix just the bit of damage that's already been done. How much worse might it get? Gold's worst week since 1983. I think we've won, Trump says. Right. So, there's this string of headlines this afternoon. CBS reporting going to be a ground force, maybe into Carg Island or whatever, to try to... Great. This is not going to end. It's not like... Again, once you open Pandora's box, the unknown unknowns, the unforeseen consequences, you think you know it all, you think you know how it's going to go, and that's not how it works. And I just hate it. And then there's this... So now the U.S. is going to allow Iran to sell oil for $14 billion worth to get supply moving. What? The U.S. is going to buy Iranian oil? And how does this make any sense at all? They're the head of the snake of global terrorism. Therefore, we're issuing a narrowly tailored short-term authorization permitting the sale of Iranian oil. So what? I don't understand any of it. I like to think I understand stuff. Then Iran shot off some missiles that the world thought could only go about 2,000 to 3,000 kilometers, but they took a stab at Diego Garcia way out there in the Indian Ocean. And if they really could go that far, that means almost all of Europe is now in play for a missile. Great. Why not? Oh, this is fun. CEO of United Airlines says the airline is preparing, at least they're thinking ahead, I guess, prepping for oil to hit 175 And even if, I guess, it doesn't get any worse, to think it could stay $100 a barrel for the next year and a half. It's terrible. Then there's this. All these drones. Remember all the drones last year, the year before, flying around Europe, flying around the U.S.? What were they doing in New Jersey? Well, now this happened. Barksdale Air Force Base, where the U.S. keeps a lot of its B-52s. They observed multiple waves of drones last week. Whose drones? Iranian drones? Probably not. Probably Chinese. Like I said, so what if you're the Chinese and you're ready to roll, man? This could go anywhere at this point. That's what I hate about it. Oh, it's going to be fast. The amazing shock and awe of our bombing is going to wipe out all the Iranians and it's going to be over. And I know Trump said it's going to take a while when he started this 3 weeks ago. But nonetheless, it sure doesn't look like it's ending anytime soon. And who knows where it goes from here. But hey, here's some good news. Is it? I don't know. Quoted Gary Savage a couple of times now. His weekly momentum thing is about as low as it could be. Okay? And usually marks lows. So, we'll see. To your charts, here's your 2-year note. Again, was down here at 355 or something like that 3 weeks ago. Trending, just going great for us. And then spiking. Here's the yield on the 10-year note, doing the same thing. Down here at under 4%. Lowest yield. I remember talking about this 3 weeks ago. Lowest yield in 2 years. And now spiking. Dollar index at least fell back this week. It was up again today, but still under 100. So we got that going for us. Here's your week in gold. Again, was mostly sideways into Wednesday. And then Jerry just killed us. And we went from 5,000 to out on the lows today at 4,500. Daily chart of gold, we talked about this, just a day or two ago. GDX broke down through its 50-day and was going to its 100-day, and we thought, well, that's probably a bad sign. Maybe that's what gold's going to do too. Remember that? When it broke down through the 50-day back on Wednesday? Well, guess what? Here we are. Now closing below the 100-day. RSI down to 31. Is it going to the 200-day? Everybody's been calling for that now for a year and a half. Maybe it's finally going to do it. And on the weekly chart, lowest weekly close, I don't know, since what? First week of January? Still up on the year by about 2 or 3%. So we got that going for us. Silver on the week at least was hanging in there, washed out, did not go out at its lows. That was yesterday. But 67.81, that doesn't look so good. Also below its 100-day moving average. Now, again, also down on the year. See where it closed the year back here at just above 70. We're now at 69 and change. We're now actually down on the year in silver. RSI 35 looks like it also is going to its 200-day moving average. And silver on the week, again, lowest weekly close since way back here in early December. Looking worse and worse on that chart. And the GDX, again, looking like a champ. 116 and change, new all-time high to finish the month of February. Surging back after the drop in late January and early February. Looking great. And now just looks terrible. Almost to its 200-day. RSI of 26. So you'd think, right? It's going to be some really sharp bounce of a rally. And for a day or two, it's going to feel pretty good. But in the meantime, and again on the weekly chart, look at that. Just decimation. Smashing down now back to levels from October. And then on your COTS, again on the week, the cot week that ended back on Tuesday. Gold was down $235. Again, you're not going to get big changes to your cots when open interest is so low. 411,000 on Tuesday, 405,000 by Thursday, and I don't know, we'll see what happened today. Anyway, you can see large speculators adding some shorts, which allowed commercials to cover shorts. Break into the disaggregated report. Again, you can see swap dealers covering 3,800 shorts. Managed money adding longs. Oops, that didn't work out so well. And silver down nearly $10 on the reporting week. Large speculators dumping longs, adding shorts, commercial covering shorts, but not much move. Swap dealers covering some shorts, but again, they're still net short. What is that, 23,600 contracts? And managed money dumped a few longs, added a few shorts, but there's just nobody home. Everybody's talking about this big long speculator liquidation. Really? Where do you see that in these COT reports? There's no speculator. Well, retail, they're all sucked in. Okay, whatever, sure. I mean, there's definite liquidations going on in the SLV and the PSLV or whatever is now 6% discount to NAV because people are dumping it so fast. So much of this looks like lows we've seen in the past. Whether it's back in 2011 or back in 2008, whatever. But you think we're going to come out the other side like we did? But I don't know how long that's going to take. And the other part of it, we've not been in what is really starting to feel like the early stages of a much wider, worse conflict. It leaves me feeling down. So, this podcast is over. This week is over. I'll probably start a new thread for you Sunday night. Early in the morning Monday. By the time I go to bed Sunday night, we'll just start a new thread for you. I'll have a podcast Monday afternoon and then fly overnight, write up something Tuesday, and if I get home on time Tuesday, I'll have a podcast Tuesday afternoon in the regular time slot. But that's it for now. I'm done. And I just wish I could be more help. That's, I think, what bothers me more than anything. So we'll see. We'll see what next week brings. I hope you find some peace and relaxation and safety this weekend. And we'll see you on Monday. Pal Turd Ferguson signing off, and I'm out.